Hey, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about the 4 biggest mistakes that beginner food photographers make, and maybe intermediate food photographers. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is the direction of light. As well as getting nice light, good quality of light, good exposure, and all these things, not many people put much thought into where the light is coming from in terms of left, right, top, bottom. And it is so important. I'm going to give you a very quick and very brief, tip of the iceberg breakdown as to where you can place the light to give different effects. Now, being in the Western world, we read left to right. Some countries read right to left, and I've actually shot campaigns where it's going both ways, which different video altogether, but nonetheless, we read left to right. Generally speaking, if you want an easygoing, pleasing to the eyes, nice and natural, straight on shot or 45-degree shot, you want your light source to be coming in from the left. Now, if you want to add a bit of edge, a bit of mood, a bit of unease to the image, maybe you're shooting the Halloween images for a magazine, bring that light in from the right and it has a completely different feel. Even if nothing else changes, the distance is the same, the exposure is the same, but you've just gone from left to right. It has a huge impact on it. Likewise with flat lays. Generally speaking, if you're shooting a landscape flat lay, you'd light top to bottom. If you light bottom to top, it gives you a really edgy sort of feel. And if you're shooting portrait, you'll probably light left to right just because of the joys of the inverse square. But this is something a lot of beginner photographers don't really pay enough attention to and really should be having that conscious thought process as, where should the light be coming from in relation to the camera? The next one is having a level camera. Not just, level like this, but also level like this. If you're shooting a flat lay, you're going to want a spirit level. I generally use, because I use a lens with a very round lens hood, I will pop this on the lens hood this way and this way if I'm shooting a flat lay to make sure that camera is perfectly level. Don't use the built-in one in your camera, they're not very accurate. And don't put it on your camera because your camera is not very accurate. Don't trust your tripod bubble because that's only accurate if your tripod plate is on perfectly, which it won't be. One of these will save so many awkward moments where it looks like your glasses are falling off in one corner of the flat lay. Likewise, if you're shooting straight on or at 45 degrees, correcting this here, your left and right, is very easy in post. Correcting what is called the fore and aft, or aft if you're a bit more posh, which is this way, not possible. Yes, there's tools to do it, but it stretches pixels and it ruins everything. So you need to make sure, as well as having your horizon level before you press the shutter, you've got your fore and aft perfectly placed as well. You do it by eye. There's no trick to this. Find the horizon, make sure that it's not going diagonally left to right. Very important. Now, this is something I am incredibly guilty of in my past. This lens here is a 1.4 lens. You bet the first shot I took on this was at 1.4. I purchased 100mm f2. First week, everything was at f2. Shallow depth of field is dead. It is done. Nobody cares about your bokeh. Only photographers know about bokeh, and only very specific photographers online care about bokeh. This shallow depth of field thing, it has its place and it can work. But generally speaking, for food, 5.6 to f8 is a good solid spot where you get enough food in. Most of the images I get sent to look at, the depth of field was too shallow and we're getting a little bit of a tomato in focus and the rest of it's soft. Don't be afraid of stopping down. Most of my portfolio shot between f10 and f16. Moggy's just come into frame. Most of my portfolio shot between f10 and f16. It is rare nowadays that I'll go down to 2.8 or below. Now, the last one is a bit of a tricky one, I guess, and it's something which will get you from your beginner intermediate level to the next level, and that is not taking a picture because it's pretty. An image being pretty does not justify the action of taking the image, which sounds bizarre, but anyone can take a pretty picture. Go onto Pinterest, search for any food type, and find yourself 10,000 pretty pictures. It's just expected as a base level that you can, pull out a pretty picture. What you need to be doing is taking a picture with intent and purpose. It might be pretty, but there needs to be more to it than just a pretty picture of pretty food. That is not enough nowadays. Back in the olden days, yes, absolutely. If you could take a pretty picture of food, you were winning, but then digital came along and then everyone got better and better and better. The level of entry is so accessible nowadays that it's pushed up the quality and the expectations, and pretty images alone are not enough to make you a professional photographer. Now, if you're enjoying these videos and this is the sort of thing you're into, if you're into food or commercial photography, or want more help with the business side of photography, do hit subscribe and I'll see you next time.